Court.
For the competitors, the Pharaohs Rally is very much a shakedown for the big one, the Paris-Dakar, which starts in January. But it's still a very rough, tough event indeed. With our second report from Egypt, here's Brian Kreisky.
And from the warmth inside Earl's Court at Motor Fair to the heat of the Egyptian deserts. The Pharaohs Rally starting from just outside Cairo at the Pyramids of Giza. Of course, you saw the start in last week's Mobile One Motorsport News. Well, this week we bring you more of the action from the deserts. Well, the majority of competitors use this event very much as the training for the forthcoming Paris-Dakar, taking place between the 1st and the 22nd of January 1988. And here on Sky Channel, we'll be following all of the competitors every inch of the 10,000 odd kilometres that will stretch to. Indeed, we'll have reports every evening on Sky throughout January. There were some unusual entries, including number 15, a Lancia HF Delta, normally seen in the World Rally Championship. It retired very early on in the rally. Another unfortunate retirement was Shaker Mehta and Mike Doughty with the second of the Camel Peugeots. They did an end-over-end fairly early on in the rally, and both of them were flown back to Paris for medical attention. Happily, we can now report they are recuperating well, and we hope to see them back in competition very soon. The event for motorcycles and for cars, a lot was hoped of from Jackie Ickx's Leider, but it had all forms of problem, culminating in a broken differential on the final leg that was to put the popular Belgium out of yet another Pharaohs Rally. Arie Vatanen with the Camel Peugeot was out to repeat his success of the 1987 Paris-Dakar. The Nissans were there, and so were the Toyotas. There was nothing stopping Arie Vatanen, the great Finnish driver, from winning this Pharaohs Rally. In the bike section, it was Alessandro De Petri on the Cagiva who went on to victory. Second was Merdado with the Chesterfield Yamaha, and third was Picard with yet another Cagiva. Olivier was fourth for the Yamaha, and Golini was fifth with the Suzuki. Gaston Raillet's Marlboro Suzuki team hit all forms of problems, including breaking all of the crankcases on all of their Suzukis when they came on a very difficult section full of stones. Pindano, Raillet, Huga and Budo all out of the rally. This is down in Abu Simbel by the Great Lake Nasser. And of course, everywhere that the Pharaohs Rally goes, it's steeped in history. This area used to be used by the British in the early 1920s. Indeed, the stones that you see there are still the only markings. But for many of the bike riders, as ever on rally raiding, all forms of problems and many injuries. You may well know that FISA have decreed, in fact, that bikes are to be outlawed from the rally raids from 1989. That's with the exception of the Paris-Dakar. That certainly seems a little bit unjust when you consider that the bikes add a tremendous amount of glamour on these rally raids. For cars, well, for cars at least there are two people always in the cars. For a bike rider, it's just him and the vast deserts. But for this man, yet another victory in the rally raids. Following on the Paris-Dakar victory, Camel Peugeot win once again with Arie Vatanen. Next week's Mobile One Motorsport News is being hosted from Paris at the press announcement of a brand new team for the 1988 Paris-Dakar. That'll all be in next week's program. But for the moment, victory to Arie Vatanen and his co-driver, Bruno Berglund. And victory in the bike section to De Petri with the Cagiva. Finishing in third place, his teammate, Packard, with yet another Cagiva. Join us after the break for more action.
Friday at 8:30 on The Big Valley. Action and adventure in the pioneering days of the Old West.
Oh, you learn a lot of things out here when you have to.
A family of influence and power.
Family stands together. If we're not tied by blood, then we are tied by sacrifice, work, and love.
Lee Majors, Barbara Stanwyck, and Linda Evans star in The Big Valley.
North is straight! Your turn is over!
Friday at 8:30 on Sky. Tonight on Sky, red-hot action on Spanish football. See your favorite teams battle it out as they fight to become league leaders in an hour of exciting soccer. Don't miss Spanish football, brought to you by Yoko Electronics, tonight here on Sky.
Welcome back to Mobile One Motorsports News at the Motor Fair. Behind me, the World Championship winning Group C car of Silk-Cut Jaguar. But now we go to see the Group B cars in action in a round of the Middle East Rally Championship, the Oman Rally.
Thanks, Paul, and we sent our intrepid cameraman Chris Bragg out to report on this latest round of the FISA Middle East Rally Championship. Nope, don't worry, Chris didn't lose his way. He's actually in Oman, not in Scotland. He'd like to go to Scotland because his mother comes from there. But no, he's here to report on what should be an exciting event. That is Saeed Al-Hajri, the former Middle East champion. And of course, he's up against the current Middle East champion, Mohammed bin Sulayem from Dubai, with the official works Toyota. FISA, the governing body of motorsport, still allow the Group B supercars in this Middle East Rally Championship Series, at least until 1989. So it's Toyota versus the Rothmans Porsche of Saeed Al-Hajri and his co-driver, Ronan Morgan. Ronan, who co-drives also for the great Billy Coleman on the Irish rallies, well, he's been fairly successful alongside Saeed Al-Hajri. Saeed's old co-driver, John Spiller, well, he's co-driving for Mohammed bin Sulayem. So they get away from the capital of Oman, Muscat. Don't worry, the Middle East war is on the other side, although we're not that far away from the Strait of Hormuz, and that's why we sent Chris Bragg down there. Well, there aren't that many spectators, especially on the first of this three-day event, which started just last Wednesday. But one of the real problems on the Oman Rally is the dust. They leave an interval of 4 minutes between the cars. But especially at night, in the still night air, it's very difficult for any of the following cars to see. Right away, it was bin Sulayem who pulled out a 3-second lead, but then back into the lead on special stage 2, as they went into the night, was the Rothmans Porsche of Saeed Al-Hajri. But then he hit real problems. And those problems were just simply dust. You could see absolutely nothing. After just 6 special stages, they started the second day of the rally. The leader was Mohammed bin Sulayem with the Toyota, and incredibly, he had a 5.5-minute lead. The reason for that lead after just 6 special stages is that 4 of those 6 special stages held over the first leg were held in the dead of night. The dust hung in the hills very badly. Indeed, Saeed and Ronan Morgan actually had to stop that Rothmans Porsche for 3 minutes to actually wait for the dust to abate. And so they were well down. Up into third place went the Finnish driver Lassi Lampi with the official Mitsubishi, winner already of the Group A Middle East Championship. Incredibly, the little Group A Mitsubishi was leading the far more powerful Nissans, including the Omani Rally champion Tony Giorgio. Meanwhile, this man, Mohammed bin Sulayem, jumping high with the Toyota, leads the rally by just under 6 minutes from Saeed Al-Hajri and Ronan Morgan, who are absolutely furious about the problems with the dust the previous night. But they're still not giving up, and they're trying as hard as ever to close the gap on the leading Toyota. You can see just how hard he's trying. Well, all that Lassi Lampi has to do is finish this event, and he'll be the Group A champion. He flies over the jump. But nobody quite flies like Khalid Sulma with the Nissan. You see, they're not supposed to be aerodynamic. So plenty of action here in the beautiful country of Oman. As through comes Tony Giorgio, the Omani Rally champion, hoping at least to finish in the top 3, and he's not that far behind Lassi Lampi. Well, the servicing all important on these Middle East Rally Championship events. And the man who leads the championship is Mohammed bin Sulayem. This is the 5th round of the 6-round series, and in fact Mohammed has taken part in all of them. Now on to the final day. With Chris Bragg on the Oman Rally, it's Stuart Graham.
So day 3 and the final day of the rally begins with just 14 competitors from the original starting lineup of 24 that set out on Wednesday. Those 14 are led convincingly by Mohammed bin Sulayem. There are 6 special stages today. The question is, can Said Al-Hadri close the gap? It must be doubtful, but as they say in motor rallying, anything can happen.
And sometimes it certainly does, but Said really does have his work cut out. Away he goes, and he can really only hope that problems will befall the leader, Mohammed bin Sulayem, who incidentally won the previous round in the championship, the Lebanese Rally, an event that Said did not take part in with his Brofman's Porsche. There are some unusual entries on this Rally of Oman. This is not one of them, and really shouldn't be on the special stage. So on towards the finish and victory for Mohammed bin Sulayem with the official Toyota Celica Turbo. The car that has gained many African victories, the Safari Rally and the Ivory Coast amongst them. And of course it will increase Mohammed's lead in the Middle East Rally Championship. Mohammed will have 122 points to Said's 100. In the Middle East Rally Championship terms, this means that Sulayem can now finish 1 place behind Al-Hadri in the final round in December. That, of course, is the Dubai Rally. And even if he does finish that 1 place behind this man, Said Al-Hadri, he will still win the Middle East Rally Championship for the 2nd consecutive year. The Mitsubishi have had a successful season in the Middle East Championship. Lassie Lampe going through to finish in 3rd place and win the Group A Championship. In fact, he is some 9 minutes ahead of Tony Giorgio, who will finish in 4th spot, so clinching